What's the secret sauce?
There's so many people who believe in a holy grail. People who will sell you the secret sauce, but you've all heard of snake oil salesmen now, haven't you?
So let me introduce you to the man many people in our community simply call Yoda. James Leone, or as many students call him, Yoda. And the reason for that nickname becomes pretty clear. James isn't someone who discovered trading last year. He's been operating inside the markets for over 2 decades. Before that, humble beginnings, structure and discipline through military service, and a successful career as a CPA. But eventually James did something most people never do. He stepped away from the traditional path and committed to mastering the markets. And within his first year launching his trading systems publicly, he crossed into 7-figure territory. But what makes James valuable to this community isn't just results. It's the structure behind them. Now, before we go any further, I want to show you something that will probably feel very familiar if you've ever tried to learn trading. There are generally 2 types of students. The first one is what we call the system student. This person follows the complete framework: strategy, systems, support. They track their trades, they submit data, they review their sessions. Why? Because coaches can only correct what they can see. And over time, that creates 3 things: consistency, clarity, and measurable progress. But then there's a second type: the independent path student. This person experiments constantly, tweaks the framework, skips data submission, tries to innovate before mastering the basics. And eventually, they ask the same question most traders ask at some point: why isn't this consistent? And the truth is simple. Innovation is welcome, but proven means something very specific. Back-tested, forward-tested, broker verified. Until then, it's just theory. So instead of just telling you how the system works, let's look at someone who actually applied it. Harry approached the markets the way a system student does. He followed the framework, tracked his data, executed with discipline. He followed the framework, and in one example session, Harry captured 27 pips. In our funded account structure, that translated to about $540 in roughly 3 minutes. Now, the number isn't what matters. What matters is the process behind it. And that process is exactly what we're going to unpack tonight, because what you're about to see isn't just a trade idea. It's a part of a larger framework we call the trading blueprint. And at the end of this event, we're going to make that blueprint available for everyone who stayed with us through the training. So if you're here to understand how the system actually works, you're in the right place. All right, let's get into the framework itself. James, the floor is yours.
That's all right. I first would like to say to everybody that's watching that regardless of the introduction, and it's a nice introduction and I'm thankful, but I'm nobody. I really am an absolute nobody. And if I can trade and make a living, and it's a very sensible and comfortable living, when I want something, I'm having that then. And there's no discussion about wherever will we find the money. I want it, I'm having it. And that's all there is to it. If I fly somewhere, I'm flying business class, or I'm not flying. Unless it's like from Dublin to Liverpool, they don't have a business class, so I'm kind of stuffed there, you know. I'd have to fly like to, I don't know, New York and back to be able to fly business class to Liverpool. Bit of a joke. I'm not doing that. It'd take too long. But I'm a feet on the ground, real trader. That's it. I've been doing it since 2004. I made, there's some misconception on the numbers. My very first trade doubled my account balance from 5 to just over £10,000. And I knew then that I was onto something and that I had to get smart with this and figure out what it was I'd done so that I can keep doing it. And that's what I did. I educated myself. It was about 3 months before I placed another trade. I educated myself and I got smart. I grew up poor. I grew up with nothing. My parents didn't really pay any mind to my sister and me, and she left early and I got fostered. She kind of ran away before she was even 16, never mind 18. I suppose they were different times then. It would have been the sort of late 60s, early 70s, you know. And that was that. I would have otherwise, no doubt, without my foster parents, I'd be in jail or dead by now or something, you know. But here I am. I've managed to make something of myself. I've done well with it. My trading afforded me the opportunity to buy that company that you saw in the newspaper clipping. I was working there. I was the general and financial manager, and I realized there was an opportunity. So, you know, I know numbers. I'm good with numbers and mathematical formula and stuff, as you'll see if you join me in trading sessions. So I bought the company, and then I realized after a couple of years, I realized I'd made a huge mistake. It was great. It was very profitable, and I grew it, and I did a lot with it, and I made a lot of money with it. That's not the point. It took away a lot of my time. I was given 50-hour plus per week to that business. And my personal life was suffering as a result. And when you're younger and a man and you're growing up with responsibility, you don't pay attention to that. You just think, I'm here to provide for my family, and that's what you do. And that is the right thing to do. But then you realize there is another way. And I wish I'd found this earlier. I think if I'd have found it earlier, I'd have probably been an utter, for want of a better word, knob. And I hope that's not a terrible, rude word for you guys there. But I think I'd have been one of them people that, you know, oh, you're poor, leave me alone. And I did use the words once upon a long ago, stuff the poor, what do I care? But I don't really feel like that now that I'm sort of grown and a bit more human. Just way back then, when the numbers were rolling in so easily, I lost the grip on reality and humanity just for a little while there, I think. But I'm very firmly feet on the ground now. I'd like to think that the people who trade with me, and I know I see the feedback, and if you've seen anything on my Facebook page, you'll see the feedback as well. The people who join my sessions appreciate the guidance, the support, the availability. Someone reached out earlier and asked, could he have a one-to-one? I forget the message word for word, but I went off the rail there and I should have reached out sooner. But yeah, already we're set up for Tuesday. Now, sadly, I know, but there's Friday tomorrow. I don't do Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays or Mondays generally. So it's Tuesday, but Tuesday and Thursday, it doesn't matter what time, I'll make time and we'll make it happen. And he's okay with Tuesday. If he was desperate, if he was saying I'm on the border of blowing an account or something, I'd have got online with him today, but it wasn't that desperate a message. There are people who have been in those shoes. And there's a classic example that we were in Heathrow. We did a boardroom meeting in Heathrow, and one of my students stood up and said, yeah, he's talking about me. And it was someone who'd built an account up from hundreds to tens of thousands, blew it all in a few hours. And then within, I think I made him take 5 or 6 weeks to get it all back, but he got it all back. And the reason I made him take it so slow is because I made him take withdrawals along the way and prove that he was going to be more disciplined and more safe with the funds that were available to him, you know. But again, I'm feet on the ground, real and genuine. And if you've any questions whatsoever, I'll answer them. And that's it. I've just clicked a button on my heated seats here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of chilly here. Here in Ireland now, it doesn't. Oh yeah, it does. It says 3 degrees, mostly cloudy. Yeah, and it's been peeing down all day. So I treated myself to a new office chair last week, and it's heated and it massages me if I want that as well. Like I said, if I want something, I'm having it. And there's no. But what are we gonna? And if I want to go on holiday. You know the way some people say you get 15 days holiday, you get 20 days holiday. Now, I get what I want to have for my holidays, and that is all, you know. And I haven't been away for a long, long time in a while. We did go for a couple of months to South Africa a few years ago, but we don't do that anymore. That's largely because, and she'll never hear this, thankfully, but my wife is very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, you'd say I'm in possession of an offensive wife, and it's just that she's a little bit but she has this thing, it's some kind of illness, and it affects her mood, and she's fit to kill Stacey and I most of the time. So we do our best to stay out of the way. Long holidays. If it could just be me and Stacey, yeah, great, we're gone. But Cash is generally fit to kill us. I don't know, what questions have you got? What else do you want to know?
Oh, yeah.
Trading is how you want it. If you want time, you've got it. You want to spend money, you've got it. But you have to be disciplined and you have to be patient, and you do need to have the knowledge. I think by now, I've been with you guys, since early 2022?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been on sessions with me for almost 4 years now, if it isn't 4 years already. So, it's probably nearly 5 years.
I think April will be 4.
Yeah, there you go. In my sessions, I give a level. If it goes above here, we're buying. If it goes below there, we're selling. And I don't remember a day where the market's handed me backside on a silver plate. I've either said, no, that's too choppy and we're doing nothing, or you got to get in here, lock in quickly, or drag up your stop or trail it, finger on the button to get out. I keep our members safe because I'm a tight git and I'll give away nothing to the markets. That's it. I've had some 0 pip trades. I've had some 5 pip trades, and I've had some 250 pip trades. But I've not had a 250 pip loss. I've had a 5 pip loss. I think I've had a 10 pip loss this year, but I'd have to scroll back to find it. It's not yesterday or something, there's not many of them. I'm too tight.
Kind of reminds me of that expression. It's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. And James is like, no, it's better to have traded and lost than to have never traded at all. He's like, no, that's completely backwards. We wait for things to align, and when it aligns is when we trade.
That's it. So we don't need to lose at all. We can leave that to the amateurs, to the people who are not patient, to the people who are not disciplined. The markets are designed to take away their money from them and give it to me, basically, and to our group.
Right on. Let me...
I'll send it over.
Okay. I have a quick question. So you mentioned when you made that first trade and you got lucky and you doubled your account just over 10,000 pounds. Then you mentioned how you didn't take another trade for like 5 months and you got smart. Can you elaborate? What does it mean to you to trade smart or to become a smart trader?
Well, the win frightened me because I was expecting, I placed $50 a pip on oil and I bought it. Now, I read this magazine. That's what got me into trading. And in the magazine, it was used to do binary, didn't you? And, it might go up and you'll get another $50, and it might go down and you lose your $50. And I think back then, I didn't know. That's the honest answer. I think I thought that I was doing that, and I wasn't. I was spread betting. So I went in at $50 a pip and I hit the button. I shut it down, and then I went off for lunch thinking, I don't want to know. I'm going to make $50 or I'm going to lose $50. So what, And then when I came back from lunch, I didn't log in straight away. I'd forgotten. Oh. It took me a few minutes. I logged in and I thought, what? I'm looking at the screen. But for want of a better word, I was bricking it, if you know what that means. It means I needed a toilet, and a big one at that. So I found how to close the trade, and I closed it. And what was sinking into me was that could have gone the other way, and I could have lost everything. I could have lost the whole $5,000. And back in 2004, that would have been a lot of money for me, That was more than a month's wage. It would have been about 2 months' wages back then, I think. Near enough anyway. And now it's a couple of days. But, it was a lot of money then, that's for sure. And I didn't have that much money back then. But, I did all right. I put that on my credit card. The $5,000 was on my credit card. And I only had the big limit because I had the fancy title with the job, you're an accountant. Great, there's a load of money. Thank you very much. Bloody idiots. But then the Getting Smart, I subscribed to that magazine, Shares, and I read all the articles and all the adverts that say, you want something, go and look here, go and look there, go and look at something. And one of the best ones I found was that one for a website called investing.com. And on it were the Camarilla levels. And I thought, Camarilla levels. Ooh, so you buy above there, you sell below there. And I wanted to know more about that, because that was, so where are these levels coming from? So I searched and I searched, and I found the Camarilla equations. Now, I use those, and if you join the Monday Educational, or if you watch it on YouTube, that's what Monday is going to be about, because it's developed, and you'll like this, Zach. I was telling you about it today, wasn't I? There's a new development based on those Camarilla levels that we're not only going to use it like once a day, we can use it every hour. So let's say you sit at the machine at 3 p.m. or 11 a.m., some random clock hour whatsoever. You sit down and you look at the last closed hour data, and you key that into my formula spreadsheet, and it will tell you, this is the probability. These are the levels that you're looking for, where it might go long and it might go short. Now, that's great. It might. But then we've got those other three special things that we use, which is the divergence, the rejection of a line, and the signal. Now, if the signal happens to back up the level that we've got from our mathematical equation, well, the probability just went from here to here. I can't reach the level of probability, and it's going to eliminate a lot more of the doubt that some people feel. You know, the hesitation that some people have that makes them late in, it's going to eliminate that. The other thing we've got that's a development, I've been working with one of my traders. I was working with one of them, and he sort of dropped off the planet, and I think I know where he's gone now, because I went the same place. He's gone down the rabbit hole, and that's for sure. Remember, I said I did the education on baby pips over a weekend. Well, if you look at the length of that course, and it's only gotten a bit bigger, I did it over a long weekend, but I went down the rabbit hole to do that. I didn't go to bed. I didn't eat much. Kasia had gone away for the weekend. So I ate and I drank, but at the PC, and I went to the bathroom. I didn't shower, I didn't sleep, I did nothing from the Thursday evening, really, until about Tuesday morning when I was supposed to go to the airport to get it. But I went through baby pips and I answered every question in every course. And if I didn't get the 100%, I went back and did it again. I don't recall sleeping that weekend. So I think he put an exit indicator on his automated stuff. And I pinned him about it and said, that's overkill. That's not a good indicator for that time frame. And it's not. And I told him off a bit. And I think he's gone down the rabbit hole doing it. But another member has done it, and he shared the code with me. And it's all on a document. This is how you load the code into TradingView. So what I'm going to do over the coming weeks is I'll load it on my TradingView and I'll have a look at it. What I would like it to do for our members is just get you in. I don't want it to place a stop. I don't want it to place a target. I just want it to go, you're in a trade. And then I want people to deal with it. And the reason I want it to work like that is because I don't believe in this whole, this AI automation thing. I know there'll be a lot of people who do, and they all think it's wonderful and that. But I've seen how Volvos drive. I've seen how Teslas drive. And no thanks, I'm not doing that. I've also seen a lot of artificial intelligence and an absence of human intelligence. And I'm a great advocate for us looking after ourselves and pushing the button for ourselves. But I do want it to get us into trades. If it gets us in, that takes away, because we had two today, didn't we? I took a late entry there, and another guy, I took a late entry there. And where I was up 40, 50 pips, one of them took 14 and one of them barely took 20, didn't he? And then I think there was someone else who only took 5. So there were 2 or 3 people who took late entries today. And we've got a thing that says, what's the word? Leaky. Late entries are killing you. There you go. Andrew says the School of Pipsology, 442 lessons as of now. That sounds fair. I did them all, and I could log in and show you it now. There's probably 3. They might have brought 3 out since I last updated. But I contribute to Baby Pips. I put strategies on there and give advice and stuff. And I do that free. There's a lot of stuff I do free for traders. And I have absolutely no problem doing that. One of the main reasons I do that is because there is a company in London that will charge you £20,000 and give you a 50-period EMA It will make a noise when price goes over it. It will make the sound of a sniper, pew, 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 and it'll excite you enough to push a button. And sometimes, because it's a significant EMA, you'll win. And sometimes you won't. If price straddles it, you're stuffed. But if price bounces off it, great. But they didn't teach anything about divergence. If price closes above it, it'll go. And if you bought it, you're fine. Or below it if you sold it, whatever. I'm looking at what are you called? The Nikkei 225 now. And there's some fantastic moves on that and some hell of a big bars. We have a name for those in our group. I won't say it here. Yeah. But, anything with, Rosie used to say, anything with a candle, you can trade with James's strategy. And she's not wrong. We can look at cryptos. We can look at indices, currencies, commodities. It doesn't matter. Individual equities. We used to have an equities club. I forget what night we used to do that, but we used to meet one night a week and look at individual equities. We were doing NVIDIA, and I think in the space of a week, NVIDIA tripled our account balance, something daft. But again, it was all within the rules. We have rules, we have discipline, and we whopped it.
Yeah. So we have a lot of people on here that maybe are not so familiar with with trading yet, and so I guess my first question for them is how did you get the name Yoda? How long ago was that?
Oh God, that's been in force since about 2018. 2018. Wow. It came to me through, I did that thing with London, the trend signal. And during there, so it was 2016, 17 maybe. But during those sessions, I used to say to people, so this is what's going to happen on the Dow. It will do this. And then when it's all finished there, we'll be able to clean up with a nice, clean, safe, sensible buy trade. And, the way some people, if you ever been in a bar where someone's talking, you think, oh, what a knob, he knows nothing. And then whatever it was he said happens, like he said, there's going to be a beautiful blonde come through the door in a minute. She's going to have dark sunglasses on and red shoes. And you'll think, what are you on about? This is a bar full of old men. There's no way a woman's... And then she comes in. It's like, that was what was happening with the Dow. But not just one day. I used to do 3 or 4 days, I think, with them. And it was every time, every session, every Dow open. We were battering it. And that's where I got the name from, Yoda. And, well, you've seen in my sessions now. Goes above there, we're buying it. Because the market's changed a bit now. We've got volatility. We were down low back then. Now we're up at the targets I was given. The 50,000. I called that. The levels in before that, we called them. We've taken all of them. We've had our money, It's great.
I believe. I mean, I know why they call you Yoda. I see it every day, every couple of days that you trade.
A really good example. If you look at the FTSE trade that I called, it had never been to 10,000 ever in its life ever. And someone said, "So where's the FTSE going to go?" And I said, 10,946 will be its ceiling. And it'll take some time to get there, but it will get there. And I think it was about a week ago, it got to 10,948.9, as in it went 2.9 pips past my upper target. And then it fell off of the world. Then it's at 10,100 or something now as we speak. But I'm just going to put it up on a 4-hour chart. Yeah, 10,294 from 10,080-ish at the bottom. But it was just at the end of February, it reached the 10,948.9 and then fell all of that way. 2.9 pips past my target. That is why I got the name Yoda, for that level of accuracy. I didn't say 10,900 or 11,000. I said 10,946. And I got laughed at for what's with the 946? What are you on? And remember, some of you might remember 17,711 on the NAS and the Dow. And people say, where's the 711? What is that? Why isn't it like 720 or 700? Why is it 711? Well, there were reasons, and we hit them, and that proves the point,
Yeah, I actually do have the screenshot of that, because you called that back in October. And so I have a screenshot of it. So back in October was way over here. and his level was way up here. And of course, when I took the screenshot, it had backed down a little bit, but it did cross your level. And so if somebody was taking our normal, amount for funded accounts, like $20 a pip, that's what the total would have been in those few months. So October to February, making 80 grand. That's not a bad. It's not a bad.
My advice on the way is always just buy the dips.
Right.
Get out when you see reason to get out, and then buy in at the next dip. Buy the dips. Bring your own chips, but buy the dips. And you would have made a lot more than that buying the dips, because you got out and got back in, and you get the same pips twice.
Right.
And it's a marvelous thing when it falls into place like that. But it does fall into place like that, and all you've got to do is be able to see why it's going to where it's going, see the patterns, see the see the level, see the support, see the resistance. And a lot of people say, oh, it's, what did he call it? Demand, supply and demand. I had one guy lecturing me once. It's all about supply and demand, and it was such a big deal. And I listened, and then I stopped short of swearing at him, and I said, support and resistance. Stop overcomplicating it. Support test resistance until it breaks, or resistance test support until it breaks, and then we've picked our direction. It's not supply and demand, because you don't know who wants how many yen and whether they want to pay in euro or dollars. You haven't got a bloody clue, and nor have I. But if we look at a chart, we can see support and we can see resistance. We can't say, oh, look, everybody wants to buy the NAS. I don't know who wants to buy the NAS. Maybe they don't. But I can tell when it's bouncing off something that is strong enough to hold it up. Or I can tell when it's butting its head off of something that is strong enough to push it back down. And the 10,946 on the FTSE is a classic example. That's where you're taking your profit. Get out and you're done.
100%.
Yeah.
Do you have, I know what a lot of people want to know. They want to know what's the secret sauce? I mean, I'm looking at who's on the call here. We've got some people deciding whether or not to join us and they have trading experience. Then we have others deciding whether or not to join us and they don't have any. What do you think is like the secret sauce to trading?
There's so many people who believe in a holy grail or a secret sauce. And if you watch my Monday's YouTube educational, there is no such thing, everybody. I'm going to be really disappointing for you now. There is no holy grail. If that's what you want, bugger off, leave, and don't let the door hit you in the arse on the way out. There is high probability. There is probability. It is mathematics. Those people who know me know why I'm passionate about the mathematics of it all. I'm happy to tell you why, but that's what there is. It's tangible. It's real. You perhaps can't hold probability in your hand, but you can see it and you can measure it. And because you can measure it, you can manage it. I went to school in a place called Allsop Comprehensive in Liverpool years ago, and I bloody hated it. We had this maths teacher, Mr. Corlett, miserable, boring old git. What a bore. He copy down these 50 examples, and when your wrist aches, we'll think. Well, I'm bored now. I'm busy. Oh, look at that. It's a Ford Cortina. That's it. I'm looking out the window. Oh, a crow. I don't care what. And then I hear my name, and I haven't got a clue what you were just saying. I was busy thinking about all these examples I got to copy down. Explain it to me and let me do it. That's what I want. And then I went and studied accounting as a grown-up, when I'd finished with school. And the maths teacher there, Roy, I will never forget Roy. Roy changed my life, because Roy, he would take a Cokie pen and he'd start writing a formula here like this. He'd swap hands and he'd carry on writing the formula in the same place while he was still looking at the class, and the formula would be legible on the whiteboard behind him. Brilliant. Wow. And then he'd say, and for those of you with a scientific calculator, it's this button. What a man. And I'm there like in awe of this amazing maths teacher. So he taught me maths, and maths changed my life.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
I
that's
think
too
that I
bad.
need to start taking on the name Baby Yoda because I totally predicted that James would answer that way and use foul language. And he said a
Sorry,
bad
did I
word.
swear? I apologize if I swore. I do try not to, but I'm an
Yeah,
ex-soldier and I grew up in Liverpool, so suck it up.
all good. But that's a really good point that I think that we should make sure is abundantly clear. Secret sauce, there is none. There's structure. There's strategy
Wait,
mated with
wait.
systems. Go ahead.
There are people who will sell you the secret sauce.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you've all heard of snake oil salesmen now, haven't you? That's what you're buying when you buy the snake oil, when you buy the secret sauce, when you buy my magic indicator, my this, my that, and you can buy them. You can go onto a website now and it will give you an indicator. It won't show you what it is. It'll just, you load it. You won't have a bloody clue what it does, nothing. And it's just something that we could have loaded anyway and at least explain to you how it works and what it's telling you so you can use it with some level of knowledge. It's not like saying, oh, here's a loaded rifle. Go play to your 3-year-old. It's like saying, okay, this is the safe direction. This is how you make sure it's empty. This is what you do. It's the same. And it's the same when you teach your kids to drive. They don't just say, here, take my keys, off you go. Don't worry about it. What about rules, Daddy? Oh, sorry, just drive. You'll be fine. That's not what we do, is it, as parents and responsible grown-ups? We educate our children. And if we don't educate ourselves in trading, we're not doing ourselves much of a service. That's the reality. But yeah, there are people who will sell secret sauce. I could name them. I could show you them. I could point you at their websites and we could all have a bloody good laugh at it.
There's also the consumer too. There's people who will buy. Will buy it. They get sold on the idea of the excitement of the secret sauce rather than the excitement of stability and actual structure. And it's because it's not, what works, what's straightforward and what works isn't as sexy as the snake oil, right? But what do you want? Do you want it to be sexy or do you want it to work, right? Hopefully both.
And you want to know what you're doing, don't you? You can buy something that, I've got this and it's great and it does all of these wonderful things. But if it goes wrong and it stops doing them, you won't know why. But if you learn to do it properly, and it suddenly goes wrong, you'll probably take 15 minutes to find out why, but you'll know why it went wrong. Why did the wheels fall off? I've seen questions in my group there, and I've put them in one of the books I wrote, the Comedy of Errors. Somebody posted in the group the one day, the Dow chart is just flickering. It's not going anywhere. Is there something wrong with your chart? Is everyone else's charts working? And someone wrote back, it's President's Day. They're closed. Go figure. But that's it. At least he figured out what was wrong.
Yeah. So one of the things you mentioned earlier, I made a note of because I think it's impactful. So when someone like you took that first trade and you thought it was just $50 win or lose, it ended up being $50 a pip, and you got lucky that it went in your favor. So the thing that was in the back of your mind, although you were grateful for the increase, but the thing that was in the back of your mind is that could have gone the other way. Yeah, and I think that thought process is something that a lot of traders don't understand. It's like, because you could have all the probabilities in the world, but it is only a probability, right? So if it doesn't go your way, you don't hope and pray that it turns around and just hang on to it as you're losing more and more money, right?
You see, I've been poor. You see, I know what it is to be poor. I know what it is to have nothing. And I mean, have nothing. I know what it is to grow up in Liverpool where the gas meter runs out and there's no 50p to put in the gas meters. You can't cook anything. And then the electricity goes out. And unless you know how to stick a negative in the back of it to stop the wheel turning, you're going to not have any lights in a minute, unless you know how to take the gas meter off and turn it backwards and put it back on and blow the gas meter the other way. And if you think I don't know those things, I grew up in Liverpool. I know those things. And yes, that's how you survive growing up in Liverpool when you're like, 8, 9, 10 and no one's feeding you. So yeah, I know how to do those things. I've been poor. I'm not doing that again. I'm really not. I'm going to keep trading. I'm going to keep doing all right. That's what I'm doing. I'm fine. Someone else is making my coffee these days.
Very good. Yeah. Do you think? I think one of the things that has always impressed us and continues to impress us about you is that you don't really take too many losses. We're talking, I mean, 4, 5, 6 losses a year, and small ones, not massive 5 pips, 10 pips tops. Like what I think that's what a lot of people they want to know. Like, how do you do that? Like, I mean, okay, there's probability of entry, but is there anything more to it than just that?
No, that's it. And then I have my own little rules, but I say them in the sessions. I say, right, I'm up 5 pips. I'm not taking a loss. I'm finger on the button. And you'll hear me say it a lot in the sessions, finger on the button, until it gets above that line. We're not relaxed. We wait until it gets above that line. Then we can ease off because now we know it's going to the next line. And that's it. And guys, right there, if you look at the chat, the humble opinion, the closest thing to a secret recipe is following the recipe and don't deviate. Yeah, and make sure you're getting the recipe from a good chef. I worked with chefs and they develop something and then you say, how did you make that? They're missing something out because they're not sharing that recipe. That's the truth of the matter. With a real chef, that is. Except for me and my trading, because I've always thought at some stage I'm going to get dead. It happens to us all. I don't want this stuff to die with me. I want my children to, because Stacey's only 11, so I'll probably want someone else, my son-in-law, Jason, he's going to take her under his wing and he's going to teach her because there's not so much of an age gap and he'll be able to guide her. There's 50 years between she and I. So by the time she's ready, I'm probably not, I'm too old. Ask Jason, but he will sort it out. And that's it. He wouldn't be able to if I hadn't taught him. So when I teach wholeheartedly. I get very disappointed with the people who say, yeah, I'll watch the lessons tomorrow. Will you? Yeah, that's a big, stupid thing to do. When you've got access to all of that information and that knowledge, and it doesn't take so long to get through it, then you're not doing yourself any favors with that. You really should do all of the education. None of it is padding. It's barely a weekend. Take a few hours over a couple of days, and it's life-changing if you then go on and do it properly. And that's about the closest thing you're going to get to the secret sauce. There's nothing secret about it. It's just education. And these days, with the internet and the world being so small, ignorance is a choice, and that's the truth.
Yeah. I also really liked how, again, back to your beginnings, right? Because I think it's important to talk about that because you didn't just, you got lucky one trade and then all of a sudden now you're just forever lucky. It didn't happen, right? So you subscribed to a magazine and you read that thing over and over again. You watched all the Baby Pips modules, took the exam or quiz or whatever. If you got one wrong, you rewatched it all, right? Like you put in the effort to have the knowledge to do what you do. And I think what a lot of traders do, both inside our community, although a little bit less, but we talk to a lot of people who have trading experience and are looking to join us, right? What those people do is they think they can learn one strategy and then just keep trading for real deal. They don't put any more effort into it. Like, for example, they don't seek more knowledge, or they don't say, well, wait a minute, that one didn't go in my favor. How come? What did I do that I should not have done? Or what did I not do that I should have done? Right. And they don't kind of like analyze what they did or evaluate what they did. And that's one of the parts of our structure that we teach people to do. So I don't really have a question, I guess. That was just an observation.
No, it's a very good point in that we do have a gentleman in the group who has done 12 years of back testing. And I wrote the number on one of the things there. He came up with an outlandish win percentage over the 12 years, literally just following the strategy. Now, he took more than 50% losses. I think the number of losses might have been 60% or something. In fact, I think I've got an image with the numbers on it, and I really would like to share them with you. So it's in there, the stats. There you go. I'm opening an image on another screen, so excuse me for looking over there. Where is it? Past week, plus 40%, 39% success rate. Only a 39% success rate over the week, and 32% over the past 30 days. Nevertheless, the profit over the 12 years, profit over the last 365 days was 3,606% profit with a 37% success rate. That means he lost 63% of the times he traded. Wow. But that shows you can have a small loss, a small gain, or a break even, or you can have a big gain. And the big gains are what give you the big pips, you know?
Yeah.
That's just following the strategy. Just the yellow brick road, follow that and all.
I do have another quick observation that I've made doing the calls, and I know Travis has experienced this plenty. But it's always interesting to me when I started in entrepreneurship. This is not obviously an interview of me, but this does apply. It does relate. I had a goal, is very similar to James, obviously, to spend more time with the people I love, right? And so I thought the way to do that was through business. That was my path forward. And I thought the most important part of business would be marketing and sales. So I dove deep into marketing and sales. And the part that's interesting to me is I'm not super passionate specifically about sales. I'm not the most passionate person about it, but I wanted a result. And the reason this is important is because we talk to a lot of people who sometimes the things they tell us, the reason they don't want to keep talking to us is kind of, in my opinion, pretty silly. So for example, they say, you know what? We actually had a gentleman, nice guy. We really liked him a lot. He joined us, but he really wanted to trade. What's that called there, Travis? It's basically the support and not the support, the supply and demand thing you were talking about, James.
Yeah.
There's a name for that when people trade using that.
Smart money?
What's that?
You talking about smart money?
Yeah, smart money concepts. So he really just wanted to trade the smart money concepts. And we talked to him many times. We're like, hey, listen, like, why? You know, if your goal is this result, the result of a life like James, where you can take a 2-month vacation in South Africa, you can go to London randomly to get your suit fitted, tailored, right? Like you can go to Poland because there's a Polish festival for the weekend. You can do all these things. Does it really matter if you're doing smart money concepts or a different strategy? Right. And the answer ought to be no. If the answer is yes, I don't know. I don't think this is a good fit for you. I mean, we want to provide a result and we know how to do it, using James, obviously, in his strategies. We got some good questions here. Perfect. What is the greatest challenge? Finding the right stock or trade, or determining when to enter and exit? So strategy defines when you enter and exit. Pick a market.
Whether you buy or sell.
A quick note on that is that the right stock is the one that makes you money.
That's right.
That's it. You've got to decide. For me, you've got to decide how much do you want to make in a year. Do you want to is it just an investment thing? Boost your pension over the course of a year or 10 years or what have you? Or is this going to be your income and your savings? So then you've got to pick. For me, it is a no-brainer. In the morning, I trade the DAX over the FTSE because the DAX gives me more pips. In the afternoon, I trade the NAS and the Dow. And I've been a bit more focused on the Dow lately, generally, because it's been a lot more behaved. You can look at the last 22 to 2,300 hours there. And my time, that is. And the pips available on the Dow is about 120 versus the NAS, it's maybe 15. So the Dow, it's all day, the Dow. But, 120 pips at $1 a pip, you made $120. 120 pips at $5 a pip, and you've made a lot more. At $10 a pip, it's $1,200. At $5 a pip, it's $600. Now, I don't know what your weekly wage is, but what do you want it to be? Because that's the answer. That's the answer to your question. What do you want it to be?
We have people trading gold, and we have people trading now. The newest one that people like is ES, which is S&P 500. I've seen people trade obviously just currency pairs, EU, UJ. I mean, there's kind of the sky's the limit on those. Thank you, Brent, for the kind words there.
I think a pretty good question with response to you there, James, is if it's just whatever I want it to be, why don't I make it 1.2 million or 12 trillion? Like, where's the reasonable cap, and how do people progress through that scaling process?
The answer remains the same. What do you want it to be? I've got the gate system, and the gate system, I cap it at 100 per pip, euros, dollars, or pounds, but you don't have to. There is my broker will let me trade £300 per pip, £300 a pip over 120 pips. I don't know what the maths is on that off the top of my head, but I think it's about $36,000 or pounds, isn't it? In an hour, in half an hour. No, that's a lot of money. For some people, that's an annual salary. So the answer is still, what do you want it to be? I've capped myself. I won't go more than 100 per pip. And generally these days, because I'm sort of getting towards the end of my, not dying or anything, but, I'm getting old and slowing down, slower, older, smarter, I say. I've dropped it to about 50 per pip, £50 per pip. So 120 pips at £50, it's $5,400 to me. It's a lot of money. A lot of people take a week or a month to make that. It's half an hour. Literally half an hour, from 22.25 to 22.50. Half an hour.
We have people that that are trading, and they're like, man, I was looking at jobs the other day, and some of these jobs, they pay whatever it is per hour, and it comes out to like $200-300 a day. And they're like, that's like not even an hour of trading. It really puts it in perspective.
Well, I am going to at some stage do that one. I did tell you, I promised I was going to do the one that tells people how to, what's the word? There's a difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion, isn't there? Which is the one that's not illegal?
Avoidance.
Okay, so I'm going to teach people very soon the exact route. I'll share the link. I'll share what it costs, and I'll share how to pay yourself so that you don't have to pay tax legally. No tax. I'm going to share it.
Heck yeah. Love that.
Not right now, but I'm going to.
Yeah. We do have another question too. Somebody asks, how quickly can I be profitable?
Out the gate. There's nothing stopping you from being profitable right out the gate. And if you're not, I'll be asking you, what did you do? Why did you do that? Because I've got other people who've been very, very profitable right out the gate. There's been some people who've made 100,000 in a couple of weeks, and stupid amounts of money in a very short space of time. And there's no reason why everybody can't do that. We're not taking anything from anybody here who can't afford it. There's a broker. He either hedges what you trade so that he's, laid it off somewhere else, or he's paying it out of his pocket, and it's not his because someone else has just lost with him. He's just the man in the middle with a big pie chart that says 50% of me people are buying it, 50% are selling it, so I don't have to do anything. But then it starts swinging to, 80% of people are selling it. I better sell at 30% of what the balance is to cover the gap. He's always got the spread, so he's always, he's got a gap, he's got a space to win. But we're not hurting anybody doing this. Nobody's going bankrupt actually, World Spreads did go bankrupt, didn't they? But that wasn't really my fault. It was just that they gave me a 0 pip spread.
Yeah. Well, we've seen people be profitable out the gates. We've also seen people struggle, and most of the time it has to do with discipline. And so they have to kind of learn or unlearn bad habits, learn good habits, in order to be successful. And I would say for most folks, we're talking 3 to 6 months, for really understanding and getting it, but we have seen people just out the gates kill it.
I'm going to give you these numbers this is true. This is real. I'm an accountant. This is real. I wrote this. This is one of the most tax efficient ways to pay yourself as a UK limited company director. And if you think you can't set up a UK limited company, they'll take anybody. I'll show you how to do it in another session. If you pay yourself 12,500 as a salary pounds, and then 37,700 in dividends, your total income is 50,270 pounds. If that's not enough, employ your wife and give her the same deal. That's now 100,540 pounds. You'll pay zero income tax, not a penny. You'll pay nothing in national insurance. But you will pay £3,255 dividend tax. Your take home will be £47,015. That's 94% of your income kept legally and efficiently. And I'll also show you at some stage. I'll need a screen share to show you how we set up a company in the UK. I'm busy setting up the address just so I can have a car that's not registered here.
Heck yeah. I love that. So I love it. Thank you guys for the questions. We do have to tie up. We're at the top of the hour. I do want to share with you something that most of you, if you got an invite to join here for this interview, you are likely have already received another text or email giving you access to this. Okay, so this is our trading blueprint. This is brand new, just created last week. And I think some of you may have already seen it. But essentially what this thing is going to do is we go over a lot of different concepts. So for example, one of the things that we see a lot of is people chasing strategies like, this one, that didn't work. I'm going to buy this one. That one didn't work. I'm going to buy this one. What causes that? And how come you don't have to do that here? Okay. So that's like one of the things. And it's through structure. We talk about the 3 legs of success. It's a framework. We talk about the 10-pip method. We talk about the gate scaling system, and we talk about our toolkit. You actually get access to a lot of the features of the toolkit, and all of those kinds of things. And by the way, all of that, everything that we have here, it's all built around James. Like, it's literally the things that he has done and shared with us that we may have put into an app, or something like that. But it's all James's stuff. And so we've been able to kind of build that structure around it. And this is the trading blueprint. All you have to do is you go to toolkit.tradeca.co/Yoda. And you can get into that and access that. I think some of you that are not quite members with us yet, you've already seen it, and that's totally fine. You don't have to go through it again. Okay. But for those of you that haven't gone through it, I would recommend it. There is a time crunch to it, by the way. Remember how James was saying earlier? He was like, if you have access to this education, they're like, yeah, I'll watch it tomorrow, the next day. I'll watch it next week. And they keep putting it off kind of thing. Well, we want to avoid that because we know that kind of hesitation, it doesn't create that commitment that you need to succeed with trading. And so what we do is we actually put a time frame on this. Once you sign up for the blueprint, you only have 5 days to watch the videos. Okay, there will be a timer. So they're not very long. We're talking a total of an hour and a half worth of videos. Okay. And that's including video 5, which is a bonus for everybody. So go to that link. Thank you, Brian, posted it in the chat. And you can sign up for that blueprint today. So you get to keep all the pro tools from the toolkit. If you complete it, you do have to complete it in those 5 days to get that benefit. You also have to sign up for a call with us so that we can talk about you, talk about your trading journey, talk about what you want to accomplish with trading and those kinds of things. So make sure to do that. Sign up toolkit.tradeca.co/Yoda, and we'll see you on the inside there. But James, thank you so much for your time this evening. I know it's late there. We appreciate that. Travis, thank you, my man, for co-hosting with me. And if anyone needs anything, feel free to text us any of those text messages that we send you. You can always reply, and we'd be happy to chat with you tomorrow. Okay? Thank you, guys. Talk to you guys later.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Welcome to TraDeca, a prosperity movement.